It was 5:04 a.m. when the HOA president came banging on the door. Again, her fist hit the wood like a hammer, sharp and angry. I was still tying my boots when I heard it. I knew it was her. No one else knocked like that. Behind me, the others fell silent. We were just getting ready to head outside for our morning drill. No music, no shouting, just quiet stretches, short runs, and sometimes even silence. For guys like us, combat vets, most with PTSD, this was our therapy. But to the HOA, it was a noise disturbance. She didn't care that these mornings helped us sleep better at night, or that we felt less alone. She just wanted us gone. She'd filed complaints, sent letters, and now she was showing up in person. Again, we were told to stop making noise, but we weren't throwing parties. We weren't blasting speakers. We were doing something that kept us alive. That morning, as I opened the door and saw her standing there with her clipboard and scowl, something changed in me. I realized, maybe it was time she saw what this group was really about. Maybe it was time we made some real noise. I'm Jake, a Marine Corps veteran. After I got home, life wasn't what I expected. The war didn't end for me when I stepped off the plane. It followed me, loud and dark inside my head. Nightmares, sudden panic, feeling like I was alone, even in a room full of people. That's what PTSD does. It isolates you. That's why this group started. A handful of us, all veterans like me, living in this quiet neighborhood. We needed something more than therapy sessions and pills. We needed each other, to understand without having to explain, to heal together. Every morning before the sun fully woke up, we meet outside. At first, it was just me and two others, Mike, an Army medic, and Luis, who served in the Air Force. Slowly more vets joined. Now we're about a dozen strong. Our morning drill isn't about toughness or competition. It's light, stretching, a few push-ups, slow jogging. Some days we just sit and talk quietly. Sometimes there's silence, the kind that feels like peace. Why so early? Dawn means discipline. It's a fresh start, a reminder that no matter how dark the night was, the sun will come again. It's a small victory every day, and for us, a way to fight the invisible battles inside. The neighborhood mostly ignored us. Maybe they saw a few guys jogging, or a quiet group gathered before dawn, but no one complained. We kept to ourselves. Some neighbors even smiled or waved hello, but mostly, we were just part of the background. This routine helped us survive. It helped us live, and for a while that was enough. But everything changed the day the HOA president took notice. Then, the new HOA president arrived. Her name was Karen. Loud, sharp, and always in control. She moved into the neighborhood just months before, but made it clear fast. Rules were her world. If something wasn't perfect, she'd fix it, or punish it. She came to one of our early morning drills. I thought maybe she wanted to understand. Instead, she just stood at the edge of the group, arms crossed, watching with a frown. "I don't get it," she said after 10 minutes. "Why are you all making noise so early? Some of us need to sleep." We tried to explain, told her why we did this, how it helped us. She barely listened. A few days later, the first warning letter arrived, stuck to my door like a cold slap. Noise violation, it read. The HOA has received multiple complaints regarding disruptive activities during quiet hours. We were shocked. Disruptive. We weren't throwing parties or blasting music, just quiet drills, some talking, sometimes even silence. We reached out to Karen, asked if we could meet, explain the group's purpose, offered to lower our voices or change the time if needed. She refused. The next letter was harsher. Threats of fines if the noise continued. She said the group was disturbing the peace, breaking HOA rules. Some of the guys wanted to give in. Quiet hours were rules after all. But something about being pushed around didn't sit right. We were a group of vets fighting invisible wars every day, and now we were being told to stop doing what kept us alive. We agreed to try one more time, one last talk with the HOA. But deep down, we knew this was only the beginning of a fight we didn't want but couldn't avoid. Things got worse fast. After the warnings and threats, the letters kept coming, more frequent, more aggressive. Fines were mentioned now, hundreds of dollars if we didn't stop what they called disruptive behavior. But we weren't disrupting anything except maybe the peace of one woman. Karen, the HOA president, didn't stop at the group. She started targeting individuals. Mike got a citation for unmowed lawn, even though he'd just trimmed it the day before. Luis was fined for improper trash bin placement when he forgot to put the bin back behind his fence. It was petty, but it hit hard. One morning, after a particularly harsh letter arrived for Jake, one of our newest vets, he didn't show up to the drill. We found out later he'd had a panic attack after Karen stopped by his house to deliver yet another citation. He felt like he was under siege in his own home. The weight of it all was crushing us. The group wasn't just about healing anymore. It was about fighting just to exist. Neighbors started noticing. Some quietly cheered us on. Sarah, who lived across the street, brought us coffee one morning and said, "You guys don't deserve this." But others stayed silent, afraid of Karen, afraid to get involved. The neighborhood was slowly dividing. I saw the toll on my friends. Luis looked tired. Mike snapped at me during a group call. Jake stopped answering texts. One night, Luis told me he was thinking of leaving the group. "Maybe it's easier to just stop," he said. "Maybe this fight isn't worth it." I felt the same doubt creeping in. The early mornings had become battles. The routine that once saved us was now breaking us. I wondered if we should just shut everything down, go back to hiding behind closed doors, pretending everything was fine. But then I thought about why we started this in the first place. We weren't just fighting for quiet drills or a peaceful neighborhood. We were fighting for our right to heal, for our right to live, and no letter, no fine, no angry HOA president was going to take that away. Then it happened, the moment that shook us all. A thick envelope showed up in my mailbox, heavier than usual. Inside was a citation with a fine so big it took my breath away. $500. $500 for doing nothing but trying to heal. That fine wasn't just a number. It was a warning, a threat. I called the others right away. We gathered that evening in Mike's garage, the same place we'd planned morning drills for months. "We can't keep paying this," Luis said quietly, shaking his head. "That money doesn't exist for some of us," Jake added, voice cracking. "I don't know how much more of this I can take." We all knew Karen was behind this, and she wasn't done. The next morning, as I opened the door for the drill, she was waiting, her eyes cold, clipboard in hand. "Jake," she said, voice sharp, "this is your final warning. If the noise continues, we'll be forced to take legal action." I tried to explain like before, but she cut me off. "Rules are rules. You knew what you signed up for when you moved here." It wasn't just dismissive, it was cruel. I looked at her and saw someone who didn't want to understand, someone who only wanted control. That night, we met again, this time heavier, quieter. We had to decide, comply and shut down our drills, or fight back. Some said it wasn't worth it. We're just asking for trouble. Others felt the same fire we all felt inside. This wasn't just about noise anymore. It was about dignity. We voted. Every single one of us said no. No to silence. No to fear. No to being erased. It was the moment we stopped being victims. It was the moment we decided to make a stand. We didn't know what would happen next, but we knew one thing for sure. We weren't going anywhere. After that night, we knew we had to do something. But what? It was Luis who spoke up first. "I say we go big. One last drill at dawn. Bigger than ever. Show them who we really are." He called it Operation Dawnfall. The idea was simple but powerful. We'd gather before sunrise like always, but this time, not just the usual dozen. We'd invite supportive neighbors, anyone who wanted to see us stand strong. We'd make it clear this wasn't noise. It was a fight for respect, for our lives. Flyers were quietly printed and slipped under doors. No shouting, just an invitation. "Come watch a morning drill. See why it matters." Sarah, our neighbor, helped spread the word too, texting friends and posting in community groups. We even tipped off a local news station anonymously. If this went viral, maybe the HOA wouldn't be able to hide their cruelty. The night before, I barely slept. What if it backfired? What if Karen called the cops? What if this made things worse? But deep down, I knew we couldn't stay silent anymore. Dawn would come, and so would we. Together, at exactly 5 a.m., we gathered. The air was cool, quiet, and still. Not a word was spoken as we lined up, lacing our shoes, stretching our arms. One by one, familiar faces appeared in the soft glow of early light, not just veterans, but neighbors too. Dozens showed up, some carrying coffee, others folding chairs, all there to support us. The silence was powerful. We started the drill. Slow stretches, steady breathing, light jogging in place. Each movement was careful, deliberate, a dance of healing and discipline. There was no shouting, no music, just the steady rhythm of people trying to reclaim their peace. Suddenly, the distant sound of a van pulling up broke the quiet. A local news crew, cameras and microphones ready. That's when Karen arrived. She stormed in like a thunderclap, face flushed with anger. "This has to stop," she yelled, voice sharp enough to cut through the dawn. "You're disturbing the entire neighborhood." Before she could say more, one of our vets, Mark, an army sergeant who lost a leg overseas, stepped forward. "Ma'am," he said calmly, "you've been told what this group is about. If you can't respect that, maybe you shouldn't be part of this community." Karen's face twisted with rage, but she stayed silent. Mark turned to the crowd and shared his story. He spoke about nights filled with terror, about waking up in cold sweats, about feeling like he was drowning in memories no one else could see. Then he said, "This group saved my life. These drills, these mornings, they're more than exercise. They're a promise that I'll keep fighting, not just on the battlefield, but here, at home." His voice cracked as he spoke, raw and full of pain. You could feel every word hanging in the air, heavy with the weight of memories that refused to fade. Some people in the crowd wiped tears from their eyes, quiet sobs, mixing with the cool morning breeze. It was a moment none of us would forget. When he finished, the entire group, veterans and neighbors alike, offered a soft, heartfelt applause. It wasn't loud or boastful, but gentle and full of respect. In that applause was an unspoken understanding. We all knew what had been shared was real, and it connected us in a way nothing else could. For a long moment, no one spoke. The silence wrapped around us, thick and powerful. It wasn't uncomfortable. It was necessary. It was a chance to breathe, to feel the weight of the moment, and to honor it. Then together, we held a moment of silence, a quiet tribute to those we had lost along the way, to the ones still fighting battles inside and out, and to the strength we found simply by standing together. Karen stood apart, watching us with a hard expression, like an outsider looking in. But for us, something had changed. That morning marked a shift in who we were. We weren't just a group of veterans anymore. We were a community, a family forged in struggle and hope. And in that moment, we had made our noise heard, clear and undeniable. After the dawn drill, everything changed. The local news story went viral. People from all over the city saw our struggle and stood with us. Comments flooded in, messages of support, thanks, even offers to help. The HOA was suddenly under pressure. The harsh spotlight made it clear their fight wasn't just with us, it was with the community's values. Within days, several board members resigned quietly. Karen herself stopped showing up to meetings. It was clear the backlash was too much. Then an unexpected offer came. The local community center invited us to use their space for our drills and meetings. It was indoors, warm and more private, everything we needed to heal. Meanwhile, the HOA revised their rules. Quiet hours stayed in place, but with one important change, a sunrise exception for early morning activities, like ours. It felt like a victory, not just for us, but for anyone who's ever felt silenced. With renewed energy, the group grew stronger. New vets joined. Some neighbors who had stayed silent before stepped forward to support us openly. Sarah, who brought coffee that first tough morning, now helped organize events and spread awareness. Our early mornings changed. They weren't just routines anymore. They became something much bigger, celebrations of resilience and hope. Every stretch, every quiet step, every breath we took together was a small victory. We showed up, day after day, not just to exercise, but to remind ourselves and the world that we were still here, still fighting, still surviving. Looking back, I realize it was never really about the noise, the sounds we made, the soft shuffling, the quiet conversations, the slow, steady rhythm of our drills weren't loud enough to bother anyone. What mattered was respect. Respect for our journey, for our struggles, for the invisible battles we carried with us. We were fighting to be seen when it felt like the world wanted to ignore us. To be heard when silence seemed like the easiest escape for everyone else. For years, many of us had hidden away, pretending our wounds didn't exist. But here, in those early morning hours, we finally got to show up as who we truly were. And the best part, we had built a community, a place where people saw us, not as broken or dangerous, but as survivors, fighters, and friends. People who understood what it meant to carry pain, but still keep moving forward. That kind of acceptance changes you. It gives you strength. It wasn't about noise. It was about being seen, being heard. We weren't just making sounds in the early morning hours. We were fighting for our right to heal, to live. Some wounds don't show on the outside. They're hidden deep inside, behind walls built to protect us. And some healing isn't quiet. It's messy. It's loud. It's painful. But it's real. This group saved us in ways that words can barely capture. When you faced battles that no one else sees, battles inside your own mind and heart, it's hard to find a place where you can truly be yourself. But here, with these men and women, we could be real. We didn't have to hide our scars, or explain our pain. We just showed up, day after day, knowing we'd be met with understanding, not judgment. It wasn't just about the exercises, or the drills. It was about the quiet moments between. The knowing looks, the shared silences, the simple "how are you doing?" That meant more than any medicine or therapy. We supported each other through nights, filled with nightmares, through days when the weight of trauma felt like it might crush us. This group became our lifeline, a place where healing felt possible. I'm deeply grateful for the veterans who never gave up, even when it seemed easier to just walk away. For the neighbors who stood by us quietly, offering smiles, coffee, or a listening ear when we needed it most. And even for those who challenged us, because without their opposition, we might never have found the strength to stand taller, to fight harder, and to make our voices heard. Life after trauma is far from easy. It's a daily battle to keep moving forward, to face a world that often doesn't understand what you've been through. There are good days and bad days, moments of hope, and moments when the darkness creeps in. But when people come together, when they refuse to be silenced, or pushed aside, that's when something powerful happens. There's power in unity, power to heal old wounds, power to change the way we see each other, and ourselves, power to build a community, where no one feels alone, or invisible. That's what this group gave us, a family, a safe space, a place where every voice matters. If this story touched you, if it brought a spark of hope, or a reminder of the strength inside us all, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your support means more than you can imagine. It helps us keep telling stories that matter, stories that can reach someone struggling in silence. Please share this video with others, especially those who feel unseen or unheard. You never know who needs to hear that they're not alone, that there is help, that healing is possible. Together, we can raise awareness, spread hope, and remind everyone that nobody should have to fight their battles alone. Thank you for being part of this journey with us. Your kindness and support make all the difference.